It is before midnight at Beaver Stadium, but not by much. It's pretty late.
I think it might be midnight.
Yeah, and that's a good sign because it means that the whiteout stayed at night this season. Yes, it was on Peacock and not ABC, but it was still a whiteout, and it was a glorious night for Penn State, really, on a night where it needed to have a glorious occasion. I'm Joe Smeltzer with Kevin Quigley here from Mini Sports Now. And Kevin, in talking before the game and the lead-up, obviously Penn State needed the win simply to keep its national title hopes alive, but to get really the whole morale of this fan base back to at least close to what it was before Ohio State, just the win wasn't enough. This team needed to dominate. This team needed to be emphatic, and I would say it accomplished both of those things by going 4 for 4 on touchdowns in the first half and scored 28 points, and then pitching a shutout defensively. That first half, I asked James Franklin after the game if that was the best half he's seen Penn State play this season. He wouldn't really answer the question. He gave the coach, we got to look at the tape. We'll let you guys judge, but I kind of think that was the best first half Penn State's played.
Yeah, I think so. And you and I were talking before the game. Penn State was 3-5 against the spread this year, and the playoff hopes are there. They need to go 4-0, but they also needed style. They needed pizzazz. And when you put 28 points on the board in the first half, you get 4 drives, you score 4 touchdowns, you can't ask for anything better than that.
Yeah.
Wait for this guy to
especially, you gotta love it. Especially after a week where you didn't score any touchdowns, and the story of the game came down to 3 trips in the red zone where the best you could do was get a field goal. The offense needed, I think more so than the defense, the offense needed to do something against Washington to really restore faith for whoever may have been lacking it in Andy Kotelnicki in this system, and everybody really looked good tonight. It was a complete effort.
And credit to Kotelnicki. Warren doesn't get the ball at the 2-yard line at all last week. They go 4 plays from the 2, or roughly the 2, and they don't do anything with it. And then tonight, they go 2 opportunities, and Warren gets it both times and scores both times. They made the adjustments. They were overthinking it too much last week. They weren't executing the way they needed to, and they came out and executed. Was there a second half lull? Sure. I think you kind of chalk it up. You still win by 29 points on a 14-point spread. The style is there. People are going to see the score. They may have watched the first half. The second half's after people are going to bed. So kind of insufficient, kind of weird half too. The fumble, the interception. There wasn't an interception. Just weird things happening. And the quarterback change for Washington really played a part too.
Yeah, and another weird thing that was addressed after the game was Nicholas Singleton ran what probably should have been a kick return touchdown to start the second half. There was a questionable hold called on Mekhi Flowers, I believe it was, that we didn't think was a hold, but alas, it was called a hold. But we didn't see Singleton for the rest of the game, and I don't think he was on the sidelines during the end. James Franklin was asked about that. Didn't give an answer, but did hint that there is some kind of injury there, and we'll have to watch for that on Wednesday when Penn State has its open practice availability. But going forward for these next 3 games, it's important now more than ever for not just Nick Singleton as one of Penn State's best players, but for Penn State in general to be healthy, because now you're looking at an NFL level season if you win a lot.
Yeah, and it felt like Nick Singleton was finally healthy tonight. He was fast, he was jittery, and then he potentially gets hurt. Yeah, I walked the sideline when we were able to come down. I scoured it twice. Got some big people on the bench looking at me kind of funny, and I just didn't see him. I saw K-Tron, I saw the rest of the running backs, and Nick Singleton just wasn't there. So, but credit to Washington. They really came out in the second half, did well. Damon Williams Jr. looked, watching him down on the field, he was so much faster down here than he even looked upstairs. He was jittery, he was quick. He was short, dude. He was only 5'8", 5'9". I talked to Kobe King after the game, and he was like, we knew he was short, but we didn't know he was that short. But then, it definitely took the defense a long time to get adjusted to his feet. Abdul wasn't even ready for it, because Abdul took a straight angle towards the sideline, whereas if he had given Damon a yard or 2, it doesn't give him 4, which set up a short fourth goal or 4th down, which led to Washington points.
Yeah, so getting into our main takeaways, mine is Kevin that this team knows how to bounce back after a loss. Going back in recent Penn State history, they haven't responded well, at least at the outset in the first half, after losing his first game last year against Indiana. Tom Allen, who was Indiana's head coach back then, now is Penn State's defensive coordinator, he almost engineered a massive upset right here at Beaver Stadium. Penn State needed a big play from Drew Allen and DeAndre Lambert-Smith to avoid that from happening. And then 2 years ago, they lost the Michigan game, kind of like tonight, like Minnesota in the whiteout. And yeah, they ended up winning. I think it was 38-17. But they started off slow. They were down 10-3 at one point. It wasn't that punching them out right away that we saw tonight. And then, of course, the 9 overtime game against Illinois, that was also the first game following the loss. So historically, Penn State has not been great coming out of its first loss, and tonight they put together maybe its most complete performance of the season.
Yeah, I think that's our third guess. I think my takeaway is as long as Nick Singleton's healthy, I have confidence for the rest of the season. They hadn't put 60 minutes together, and maybe they didn't put 60 minutes together tonight, but they probably lost a little bit of mental focus. I was talking to a Letterman on the sideline. He kind of didn't really chalk it up to losing focus when you're up 28-0, but when you go into half as dominant as you were, I think yards were 256 to 71. You got swagger coming out, and then they switch quarterbacks which you're not ready for, and then the offense is kind of Tyler Warren fumble that probably shouldn't have been a fumble, probably should have been an incomplete pass. If we're playing by Ohio State rules last week, that should be an incomplete pass. It's the offense. I saw what I needed from them, and if Nick Singleton's healthy, I've got no worries there. And then the defense, man, it looked like a Manny Diaz defense out there tonight. So much pressure, zero time for the quarterback. Even when they had to put a shifty guy in to even get some offense out of him, and I think he still only put up 120 yards in the second half. So dominant performance, and it's what we need to see from him.
Absolutely. Well, we'll have plenty more to come from this game. Myself and Kevin Wood from Nittany Sports Now. Follow us on Twitter at NSN. But from the field at Beaver Stadium, the final score, Penn State 35, Washington 6, a much-needed bounce back.